My question is about the walk-up or setup for the deadlift or any big lift. I've recently started competing in tactical strength challenges, and one of the most interesting aspects of competing in the barbell deadlift event is the walk-up to the lift. We're talking about bar setup. I've been working on my own walk-up so that it's consistent every time I step the lift. Okay, I do the same thing. I've also been practicing visualizing my walk-up and my breathing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the walk-up, how it relates to habit creation, and how you've revised your walk-up over the years. Is your walk-up different, same for lifting as for throwing? Oh, there's going to be a difference, yeah. Do you have any recommendations for reading or videos to watch on this topic? I'm not, Karen, I don't know much about the TSC. I was around when it kind of came in, and I think it's a good event. But let me tell you what I do. And I'm an Olympic lifter, so it's a little different. I will stand near the platform or as they're setting the load for me to go. Okay? As they're setting the load for me to go, I then take my thumb and ring finger on my left hand and squeeze it together like this. Now, most people never even see this. And the reason I do this is I used to do, I used to have it was actually an actual tape. It was a tape, a tape recorder. So hopefully you know what that is. And one of the things they did on this tape to prepare yourself was that this was to remind yourself that your inner mind and body are one. I still have this habit. I don't even remember doing it. Just happens. And the second I link up here, that's my here we go. That's my here we go to me. The first thing I do then is I look on the load on the right side of the bar, and then I instantly walk over and look at the load on the left side of the bar to make sure they look about the same weight. I'm not that concerned that the bar is loaded the right weight. I'm more concerned if there's a misload. And that if you've ever snatched with a misload, it's something you never want to do again because it's really dangerous. I then center myself at the back in front of the bar. Now here I'm stepping up the platform. One huge exhale. I then approach the bar. If it's the snatch, I stand tall. I get my socks right on the bar. I reach down with my right hand. I hook grip. I reach down with my left hand. I hook grip. I go collar to collar, so it's real simple. And then I squeeze my lats as hard as I can, trying to break pencils inside here. I push my butt down. I start to drive my chin to the head judge. And then I push with my heels as hard as I can and go like hell. That's my walk-up. If you were to call me right now and say, Dan, I want you to snatch that weight, clean that weight, it would be the exact same. You need to have some kind of signal that it's go time. Now, as a discus thrower, it's slightly different because my tension level has to be lower. And so when I get in the ring, there's might be a thing or two on the way up to the ring, but really the most important thing I'm trying to do is empty my mind of thoughts. I bring the discus over like this, and here's in weightlifting, it's this. In discus throwing, it's this. I smile, because if I can smile, my tension is at the right place. I breathe out, and I let that discus go. And when that discus hits where it's supposed to be, my only thought in the entire world is pick up that right foot. And to pick up the right foot, I've got to drive all my weight to the left. And the next thing I know, the discus is in the air because it takes 1.6 seconds. Your question about walk-up at first concerned me, but after I started talking about it, I liked it more and more. I like this question, Karen. I am a huge believer in rituals. One of the biggest rituals we have in the system I coach is that I don't just show up at the meet. I have a checklist that I follow. And one of the most important things I do for a weightlifting meet or a track meet is here's the competition day. Here's the day before. Thursday is going to be an easy practice. Writing the check 6 months beforehand for the meet or whatever is part of the ritual. calling up the rental car place or getting the flights. That's all part of the ritual. Having before I leave, I make sure I have my card for the affiliation. I go through all the steps. I pull out all my equipment. One thing I always recommend: if the meet's on Saturday, I put my uniform on Monday. I check the shoelaces. I check everything. And mentally, every lift I make that week is funny because, I might only be lifting very, very light loads that week, but I try to make each one of my lifts a single that week that's practicing my arousal level for the competition on Saturday. So for me, when you're working with high-end athletes, when you're working with this kind of thing, your number one job is to coach tension and arousal levels being at the appropriate place. If you want more on this, Karen, I have a book called Now What? ? Now What? And you can get it on Target Publications and on that thing that, overworks their employees, which is very popular on the net. But on Target Publications, Now What? And I go through all kinds of things to prepare you for the platform. And I hope that helps. Okay?